Rev up your engines. Okay, here's a man. He didn't like his 2022 Toyota Tacoma four-wheel drive, so he got rid of him. He got rid of it because he didn't like the payments. It was an expensive vehicle. He got rid of his monthly payment, which actually wasn't that bad. It was like $550 or so. But he's like me, he's getting old, he doesn't want to waste his money when he doesn't have to. He paid cash for this thing. It was $12,500. And even though it's old, it's 2007, it is a Toyota Tundra with a V8 engine. It's an 07. It looks pretty new to me. I mean, check it out. Look, the interior's clean. He went from a four-wheel drive Tacoma to a two-wheel drive Tundra. He figured he didn't really need the four-wheel drive. So he's like me, except he retired. I'll never retire. I'd go insane. My grandfather retired. A year later, he was dead. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. But he's not hunting anymore. And Tennessee here, it's not that bad in the winter. So he figured two-wheel drive is perfectly fine. Now, you might think, reliability of a brand new Tacoma, you know, versus a Tundra that was built in 2007 that's 16 years old. Well, guess what? These things are still ultra reliable, and something that probably everyone's thinking about, these are big old gas hogs, right? Well, he was generally averaging about 22 miles a gallon, and he gets 18 with his Tundra. But the weird thing is, Tacoma, the gas mileage would change whether he was pulling stuff, whether he was going fast or going slow. But this gets 18 no matter what. It doesn't matter if he's in the city, if it's in a highway, if he's pulling stuff or not. These V8s are set up, it's got a pretty good gear ratio for pulling the rear end. They really don't change much gas mileage regardless of what you're doing, unless you're pulling like 10, 12,000 pounds. They're not rated that high, but they will pull it. And he's not doing that either, so really, you figure 18 to 22, the difference in gas mileage versus this is paid off, has no monthly payment. Instead of paying for years and years and years of $40-something thousand, hey, he decided to go for this. Well, was it a wise move? We're gonna find out. Now, as I said, this is rear-wheel drive, so less things to go wrong, and it's gonna get better gas mileage, all things considered, versus a four-wheel drive Tundra with a V8. Now, it might be old, go inside, have a reasonable amount of mileage on it. In this case, we'll move the trip odometer. There we go. It's got 215,728 miles. But what does it sound like? Well, it really doesn't sound like anything but an engine purring along. If this had been a Dodge or a Ford, or especially a GM, you'd be hearing lifter noises. You'd be hearing all kinds of noises. Probably the best V8 engine ever made. 5.7 liter V8. And being an 07, it's got a timing change. Change your oil regularly in one of these things, they can just run and run. And how much oil does it burn? It doesn't burn any, just like my Toyotas, my wife's Lexus. These things are really solid made. So he went from the modern V6, all kinds of technology, that dynamic force stuff Toyota has, to a regular V8 engine. We'll take off the beauty cover and you can see. Plain old fuel injector. No turbocharger. Simplicity. Now, he admitted he liked this brand new Tacoma four-wheel drive, but that was a V6 with all kinds of computer stuff that he really didn't feel comfortable with. Aside from the price, this doesn't have any of this. It's tried and true. And seeing that it's a Toyota, I can see just about everything on it is still the original equipment. Not much has been changed. Still got the original alternator, air conditioning compressor, brake master cylinder, ABS unit. Well, it's got another battery. They're going to wear out, of course. The thing about Toyota was they always made their cars better as time went on. In this case, they're showing they're actually starting to make them somewhat cheaper. All companies are doing it to some extent. Let's close this and look at the data. Let's start her up. It's a Tundra, North America, 2007, 3 RE engine. In diagnosis, we'll do an auto scan. Here we go. While it's scanning, we'll check it out. It's nicely appointed. Temperature gauge, speedometer, fuel level, coolant temperature. Also has battery charging and oil pressure. Everything you need. A lot of carrying space for your sunglasses and stuff up here. Lots of room. Hey, maybe more room than you'd ever need. It's got all kinds of different sunglasses. So it's old school. It's got a CD player. Well, you know. But simple cooling. AC. Mode. Temperature. Hey, some aux power outlets. Now here's all the data. The only faults we saw with the immobilizer key, which is probably nothing at all. We really don't care about. But we'll see what it is. We'll look at the trouble codes. Unmatched key code. Somebody at some time put an unmatched key in. So we'll turn the car off. Turn it back on again. And we will erase that code. Someone forgot to erase it. Now that's gone. Another code is occupant detection. Another code we probably won't care about much. That's generally for the passenger seat, for the airbag. Buckle switch circuit. So for some reason I thought sometime that didn't work. So we'll also erase that for our road test to see if anything comes back. You notice the steering wheel only has cruise control, doesn't have 8 million buttons. Well, he likes it. That's one of the reasons he got rid of his brand new Tacoma 4-wheel drive. He said it had too much electronic crap he didn't want. Hey, he wants a steering wheel and cruise control, and that's what he got. Well, you can see everything else is green, there's no problem. So now we'll look at live data. We'll go to the engine system, and here we go, all kinds of data. Closed loop, so it's all ready. Short-term fuel trim, 0.7. It's just adding a tiny amount of fuel. That was bank 1, this is bank 2. It's 0.72. Goes up and down a little, it's idling. It's not going to be absolutely perfect. It will change a little bit, but it's pretty much at 0.7, which was the same as the other side. We'll look at the other side just out of curiosity. There. See, it moves a little too. It goes 1.5, then it goes 0.7. It's very little change at all for a car with 215,000 miles on it. And as usual, these are all color coded. If there's red, you know there's a serious problem, but this thing is running rather efficiently. You can see, look, air fuel ratio sensor. It's subtracting 2 1,000ths, the tiny bit, and then sometimes almost nothing. Hardly anything at all. Almost perfect. 0.00 is perfect. And this is 0.012, same thing on both sides. Catalytic converters are perfectly matching each other for temperatures. 228.9, 229, 230, and then that goes to 30. They are matching themselves perfectly. Meaning that both catalytic converters are still working exactly the same perfectly. With all these miles, I'm telling you, they know how to make these things. And it's 0.992. 1.00 is perfect, so it is 8 1,000ths% off. That's pretty close to perfect. Transmission is electronically controlled 6-speed. These 6-speed transmissions can last forever. You can always put them into shifting yourself if you want to go up and down manually, but most people don't bother unless they're really pulling a heavy load. See if anything else is interesting here. You can see you get an awful lot of data with this Altel scanner. It's a pretty good scanner. The data goes on, and so far all of it's pretty much almost perfect. Tells you the variable valve timing system. Speed of each cylinder, all exactly the same. Look, 51,199. We'll go to 8. That's the same too. There's going to be no misfires, you can see. 0, 0, 0 misfires. Now, he did say he wanted a simple vehicle, but as you can see, well, it's not as simple as you might have thought. Look at all the different bits of data. But all the data is almost perfect. Some of it is off 2 1,000ths, you know. So you really don't care. If it keeps lasting, it's complex. Yeah, not as complex as the new ones, but still solid made. And if there is a problem, these machines can figure out what it is quickly. Now, it's 07, it's old, so no backup camera. We got to look. It's a nice high up in the air vehicle. V8 engine, the 6-speed automatic transmission, shifting smooth, classic V8 in the front, rear wheel drive. Got a decent ride considering it still has all the original shocks and everything on it. It's got no wheel bearing noise, no odd noises. The brakes, hey, we'll check them out. Whee! The ABS system works fine. No lockups. No pulling. We'll take it to the little drag strip in the sky. As we can see, nobody's behind us. We'll be able to stop without getting rear-ended. It's a good thing because somebody's going slow with a trailer in front of us. So we'll look to make sure nobody's coming and wait a few seconds. All right, let's see what this thing can do. Whoa! It takes off. Smooth shifts. This is that engine. A V8 engine. You can't beat them. Smooth going down the highway. It's in its element now out in the country when you're just cruising along. and you want to accelerate. There we go, it accelerates. It still runs perfectly fine. Granted, it's 2 1,000ths off on lambda. 0 would be perfect, but 2 1,000ths of a percent is really not that big of a deal. If you were blindfolded and were riding this thing, you'd have no idea this thing has 215,000 miles on it. And even on the outside looking, you couldn't tell other than the windshield wiper. Toyota doesn't paint all that well there. You can see, you know, and they all have a tendency of fading if you really like your truck. You could take those and repaint them so you didn't see that. The little ugly parts sticking out. All my Toyotas and my Lexus are that way. They just don't paint the arms. The vehicle outlasts the arms of the wipers. It's idling like a dream. You don't feel any shaking. Certainly it'd be a long time, if ever, that the guy's going to need a tow truck like the one in front of us. It's probably going to pick up a BMW or something. And I can just about guarantee you that this thing will long outlast that Dodge Dakota that's in front of us. So there you have it. The guy decided that his new Tacoma was just too expensive, paying monthly payment for years and years, so instead he got rid of it, bought a cash car for $12,500. That sure, it's got 217,000 miles on it, but it's a V8 Tundra. I've seen these things with well over 500,000 miles. This isn't even halfway there. It doesn't burn oil. Everything on it works perfectly fine. The 6-speed transmission works perfectly fine. If you're thinking of spending less money on your vehicles but not lowering the quality, hey, maybe do like he did. Still looks like a pretty new truck. Runs like a pretty new truck. He decided, what the heck, he really doesn't need 4-wheel drive, which he doesn't. So why spend that extra money? Get worse gas mileage. Go for a simple rear-wheel drive truck with an engine that can last forever. And in this case, they made this one in San Antonio. There it is. Manufactured in Texas. And realize this is made in Texas. The Tundras still are. They moved all the Tacoma production to Mexico. And you all know I am not a big fan of Mexican-made anything except for tequila. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.